Hello. So,
Whoa.
this is awkward. We lost an episode.
Oh, was it just
So,
the last one we lost?
yeah.
I didn't realize that. Okay.
Yeah, for some reason it didn't record my audio last time.
Um,
Which one could say, just record all your audio on one track, but then I'm like, but I like being able to manipulate our levels after, even though, we're still new. Anyways,
I
it's
just
been
don't
a
care.
while. We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum. Okay. There's some ruins in the northern desert. So we went to both places to figure out how to find fucking what's his name? Um
The spammer this way, Cal.
Dagon something something.
Oh, the stream
The
audios.
the High Republic guy. That's our current goal. And now we're back with our Queen Merrin. We love to see it.
What was this place?
An
So,
old anchorite
are
monastery.
you able to turn up your volume a little
Impressive,
bit?
isn't it?
Yeah.
The game?
Yeah, I'm at max volume and I end the stream and I can't.
Hmm.
I can barely hear what's happening.
Pilgrim's Sanctuary is an ancient
That's
temple.
much better.
Seer and Master
I don't know
Cordova
if it'll be
chose it
too
as a
loud
hidden
compared
path
to
safe
our
house.
voices or not,
We
but-
knew one day the Empire would come, just not so soon.
Well, let's see how that goes. Where
Yeah, it'll
did
be
she disappear to?
We'll get through it. Oh.
Wait, okay. I gotta remember how to play this. I've been playing Final Fantasy, so I'm gonna be real rough real soon.
Yeah. 'Cause
Pilgrim's
I
Crossing
mean, the
is on the
combat
other
in this
side of the
game, even
desert.
though it's not like to the level of Dark Souls, is a lot more technical than Final Fantasy. So,
I wouldn't say that. I think it's more punishing. But I would not say
yeah.
it's more
This
technical.
way, Master Junda.
I guess
We are
maybe there's
nearly
more
there.
going on in the other one, but
So, what do you think?
It's old,
I
abandoned, and in the
I
middle of
still feel
nowhere.
like that game was
It's
like
perfect.
once you realized you could do. Obviously, now we're talking about another game inside of this game, but like, what else do we do? Once I learned the Phoenix Shift
Hello?
to strike
Here's our
to
ride.
extreme
stop.
lunge, basically repeat that process over and over again. Because if you do the Phoenix Shift and strike when they're down, like you do a different attack, blah blah blah. But it's like that is effective on nearly
much
every
everyone's,
small
yeah.
enemy.
It goes on forever.
Pretty much every
Yes,
small enemy it's
it
effective
continues to
on.
surprise me.
Elements didn't seem to have a huge difference on enemies, which is
Yeah.
the thing that surprised me. I kind of thought that would
Oh my God.
dictate your playstyle, but they did also make it so that you can't pause and change out gear, like change out your
Yeah.
setup in the middle of combat. So like
Alright. I'm just
that
gonna
maybe wouldn't have worked,
turn.
but
I'm just gonna do
um,
this. Because I'd rather have consistent 30 than it jumping around.
I missed the difference, but
I can see it, but again,
it's probably going to come through the stream a little less perceptibly too, because
yeah.
like the stream also sometimes breaks up when it's streaming
Mhm.
anyway. So, but yeah, and then like they were, I mean, honestly, it helped me because like I wasn't good at getting super precise. Some of the icon fights are cool, but like they also felt spongy, and after a while, it was just kind of like, okay, yeah, if I
Yeah.
could get better at my timing, I would do better at this. But like they also restart you with they have like really generous checkpointing, so that in boss fights, if you die, as long as you got a little bit further each time, you just
Mhm.
restart with all your healing items, or like a significant portion of them.
Yeah, and we can do like a full review at some point, but like it's still one of my favorite games of the year. Is it my favorite Final Fantasy?
Mhm.
Definitely not, but
No, I thought
it's a good
I
Final Fantasy.
yeah, I think the
Still.
story's really good and everything. I just wound up feeling the combat sequence was good, but became like there was not enough of a reason to be switching to different methods of doing things.
Yeah, it definitely depends on your playstyle because I rarely have ever used Ramu or Bahamut or
Yeah.
Odin even. Well, I didn't spend that much time trying to learn Odin, admittedly, but
Man,
Good
this
luck.
I
game so close to
pretty
the
m-
game,
Coming.
but
This
Hello?
you should do on your own.
What? What do you mean this I should do on my own? Bitch. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. Oh,
well,
hello. Okay.
I'm a little curious why she can't help, but you know.
Because challenge Connor. And we're gonna ride this guy to make this a little bit. Can I ride this guy? Oh. Why are we sitting this way on them though? Okay.
Hurry!
This is the weirdest. This animation is okay.
Okay now.
Okay. I'm like, where did I die?
How many safe houses does the path have left?
I do not know. But I suspect
Oh my
there
god.
are not many.
There we go. So yeah, like Final Fantasy 16, which is a game that has, I would say, a high level of polish. And then I go back to this, and then there's still jank. I'm
Yeah,
having fun, but it's janky.
Yeah, noticeably. That is one thing I'd say. Like the technical competence is really good, obviously. And it's Square Enix, so like, everything else was expected. But
I'm forgetting the buttons.
Need an assist!
Because I just pressed the button I would have pressed to dodge in Final Fantasy.
Here, buddy!
Hello?
the other thing that I think is interesting, and I have mixed feelings on it, but maybe this is worth having an actual conversation where it's like, what's a lot of RPGs over the last several years have like trended toward simplifying their gameplay to the point of like it's a party-based game, but you
And-
never have to care about your party.
That's the jank I'm talking about right there.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. Almost like skirting over the entire map in Baldur's Gate.
Hmm. Which I wish I saw you react to that in person, like what your face was
I
displaying.
was so confused. I was also so confused how we started a cutscene randomly because I talked with a character I passed by, I guess.
But we never
Like
passed
some-
that person because they're on the other side of the fucking map.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, that enemy was not bad. I just forgot all the buttons
Yeah.
because I kept hitting R1 thinking that was dodge because that's what it is
no,
on
but
the default for.
You can correct me.
Oh, I will. What?
You can correct me because I'm not as familiar with Final Fantasy or whatever, but didn't Final Fantasy 15 you were basically just controlling one character the whole time? it-
Okay. Disclaimer: Final Fantasy 15 is like a weird beast to like talk about, but originally in like earlier gameplay trailers and whatnot, probably before they actually had solid gameplay to even show. It was like
Yeah.
a sizzle reel more than anything.
How did it go?
It's done.
They showed you being able to control all 4 characters, and they obviously would have different play styles. There's a gun carrying character, so his turned into more like a over the shoulder shooter kind of situation, and then you had like a guy with a heavier sword, so so on and so forth. What ended up happening was that you eventually ended up only controlling Noct, the main character. And what was annoying or frustrating about that, I guess, is like even just issuing commands would have been sufficient for me. But yeah, you only really control Noct. Then they had separate DLC where like you do play as the other bros throughout the entire DLC sequence. But
How's the desert treating you, BD?
again, it was like an hour or 2 at most each of those segments, so it wasn't very long, and felt, in my opinion, probably a little half-baked. But that game, honestly, this sounds like I'm like apologizing for it, I guess, but like it's a miracle that game came out, to be honest. Like the fact that that game came out at all, and I'm even more confused that they rebranded it as a mainline title. I think that probably hurt it more than helped it. I honestly think they should have kept the spin-off title name, because it was like Versus 13, because
it was originally supposed to be a spin-off.
I'm gonna meditate real quick before I commit to that, because I only have one left. Work for me, Jank. There we go. So yeah, it was originally a spin-off announced at the same time as the mainline Final Fantasy 13, and the idea was that and then another 13 branded game all shared a similar like lore around crystals, which is funny considering 16 is all about crystals as well.
Are they just like fascinated with crystals then?
In a lot of them, like a lot of
just like the creators. I mean, it's almost like there's something at Square. About crystals.
Ever since like the original, crystals have been a recurring theme. Don't know why, but a lot of the times it's
I had forgotten how much time you spend meditating.
crystals give the world power, fossil fuels, all that jazz. So 13 versus 13, and what was originally called Agito or Agito 13. It's some Latin that I'm not unfamiliar with. We're all gonna share the same crystal lore, essentially. But versus 13 went through development hell.
Haven't heard from him since Coruscant.
Part of me is like, stop interrupting my conversation, guys.
Is it the point of this is to talk about Final Fantasy? That could just be the title of the video, because this feels like it's going to be a lot of side content for this little bit.
Oh, okay.
Oh, does that thing explode? Oh my god.
That's beefier than I was anticipating. Okay.
Doesn't have a huge range, at least, I guess.
Don't say, Merrin. Let's focus on this little guy, because he's being rude. She's just being rude. Okay, his swings are just wild, so there's not much to like actually pay attention to.
But yeah, I think on my part, like,
A scroll. Let's save it.
It's like fine, some of the decisions they made, but it does seem like they're
I wonder if one must possess the Force to enter these holy sites.
These sands hold the wisdom of all those
like your
who walked them
companions are always
centuries ago.
very incidental in
This was worth
Final
the journey,
Fantasy
my
16.
friend.
Yeah, and that's part of what people are saying. Like, we want like full-on party-based Final Fantasy again, which they really haven't had since 13.
Yeah, I was gonna
But-
say that's.
And even then, 13, a lot of people dislike
Are they, like-
because the battle system basically had an auto battler kind of vibe to it.
Mm-hmm. I recall a little bit. I played that. one
Yeah,
briefly.
which I'll be honest.
Oh wow.
Ready yourself for combat.
Okay, I guess we're doing this.
Okay. Careful as I get mauled.
Okay, I'm like, hold on. I need to learn there. Pretty fucking close though.
Strike now.
They don't seem to aggro on her really.
I am ready.
Another.
Yes, I knew.
Protect me.
Okay. I understand them better, but I also forgot how to use her in combat.
Oh, there's commands you can give to her.
Yeah, because I thought just R1 was, you know, do a thing. It's no R1 and then press another button to decide which thing. Because I think circle is
Have you been here
just to
before?
make her hit.
Yes. I once saved a pilgrim from
I
a
see.
stormtrooper not far from here.
Yeah. In fairness, they did have ways to issue commands to your dog in Final Fantasy 16, but
then he also
It
felt
didn't-
Moment.
it didn't seem to make enough of a-
inconsequential. Like,
yeah, it didn't seem to make a huge difference. Like his healing wasn't good enough to make it worth the complication of getting to that command versus just using a potion.
hmm also, like, I think I finally understood, like, because your health bar would be like solid green, or it could be like partially green.
Oh, it's a shrimp man.
I don't want to deal with a shrimp.
Have we walked in on another dangerous expedition?
Well, the feral sneakfish prefers the taste of crab, but would happily settle for your toe.
Are you
What
sure all
accent is he
this
doing?
Worth the risk?
That's great beauty.
I-
lad. And these noble
Scottish,
beasts demand
maybe?
respect
I want to say
your own,
Scottish, right?
as you'll see.
Some kind of Scottish.
Gaelic. I'm sorry for that.
Should be.
Thank you.
Um.
That's what my mom tells me every day.
So
No, she doesn't. She's actually very, for the most part, sweet. Just has some toxic Gen X stuff. Oh yeah, so the health bar, if it's like a lighter green, you can still like heal up to that point. Whereas like, because I think that's what Torgal's health heal is meant to do, is heal up to a certain amount over time as a regen, which is a spell in Final Fantasy. So like that's what the role he took.
mhm.
I'd be curious to see like how effective he is in
Yeah.
combat. Actually, I didn't really use him that much.
Yeah, I do wonder about games like that with like cut content though, because mild spoiler, I guess, but like you never you only control another character right at the beginning of the game.
Yeah,
like it's
Joshua
very
for
weird.
that. Okay, hold on.
It's very
We say
weird that
spoilers,
they-
but it's in the demo. Like,
Sure,
Now you will
okay.
feed the other creatures.
But yeah,
Let's avoid unnecessary attention.
Won't be easy
I found
when
that
the
weird.
desert's littered with
I found that
imps.
to be an interesting,
Then
a
we will
weird
deal
choice.
with them
Like
together.
it's a bit of a fake out, which makes me wonder, like, is it just a fake out? Is it just like something that Square does sometimes to be weird, or did they originally intend to have more of that, and it just like production constraints?
what are you? Oh, okay. I don't know.
Production constraints meant that they took it out at some point.
But the
Along
thing
the
is,
way.
from what I've read,
You missed it.
I missed him too.
it didn't
But if you
seem
tell
like they
people
had
that, they'll
much.
retaliate.
Like they, what is known about the producer Yoshi P is like he runs a fucking tight ship. So I don't know if it's production or they just made odd choices narratively and design wise.
Yeah, that could be it. I mean, I don't put it completely past them. It's like you're talking about
How
like,
do you not?
relatively idiosyncratic, like.
Oh, you're new. Hello? Oh my god.
Up here.
Oh my god.
Stims.
Oh my god.
Well, he's dead.
But now I gotta deal with this thing and
Need an assist.
why can't everything have a phoenix shift? Hold on.
Toss it.
Am I dumb?
Yeah, and like obviously there's probably a hardcore fan base that's gonna buy like any Final Fantasy game that comes out for the most part.
I'm that fan base.
But
Oh.
yeah, and like I'll probably check out some of the newer ones as they are available now. That are like this one, at least depending on reviews or whatever, how I feel about like what it looks like. Right, I could save my money until it's a little ways along or whatever. But
Yeah.
point is, like, I'm okay with checking them out, and the old ones are like I was really into like Golden Sun and stuff growing up, so I'm into some of the older party based
Mhm.
JRPGs. I just didn't own the PlayStation consoles when I was that age.
Yeah,
so.
I inherited the PlayStation, so I was able to play. Oh god. 7 through
Something
7 and
learned.
8.
Traveling the galaxy.
I guess for
But
anyone who's
sometimes it is
Am I
best
going in the
not
right
happens to
direction?
be anyone who happens
I
to
think
stumble
I am.
across this video and actually listens to us chatting about Final Fantasy for this long while listening to watching a video about Star Wars. What was it? Which game was it? Was it probably? Was it 13 that broke the console exclusivity?
Yes.
Okay.
13 was the first one
that's
that
the
went
first one that
multi-platform. Yes.
It was on 360, which is why it was a big deal because I was actually able to buy it on the 360. And that's why I tried it, and I wasn't like that into it at the time.
I
obviously
do
now they're all over
wonder
the place. They're on, like,
replaying it if I
a
would
lot of them
like
are on the
it.
Switch and everything. So,
Okay. Haha.
you broke the like fakey
Fakey physics.
I die thing.
Yeah, 13. I like 13 a lot. I would have to replay it to see how I feel about the story. Which again, I don't. You never completed it. You said.
No,
Okay, do
I
you care?
actually stopped pretty early. No, not really.
Okay, it boils down to again fighting God, as these
Yeah.
games do.
Yeah.
um,
I mean, I was
which-
telling you that game, like, you know, vile, not spoiler really, but like, it apparently they've made a lot of their games based around like some variation of Gnostic thought. I didn't know that, but it became like
Neither did
I'm familiar with the idea, and it became obvious to me at a certain point in the storyline. But that's what they were doing in 16. But apparently that's the
jeez.
case in a few of the different entries, at least. So that
Okay.
doesn't surprise me.
We're gonna attempt to fight this, because I think I can throw those little droid flying things at them. I'm hoping.
Careful, there is danger nearby.
Yes, I can. Good to know.
Then get shocked.
Then get shocked.
So you can't force push those missiles that come out of it.
Right here, bud.
Okay, the thing I'm confused on is like, normally you can. Like all the other droids that shoot out any kind of missile, you can force push those away. Also, I'm really struggling to see like these little lines.
Yeah, the sand isn't a different color enough. Is it the? Yeah, I was gonna say it's the.
And that's partially me being an idiot and not having played this in a long ass time, but
Have you come across the Narcus anchorites, friend?
I have. They gave me water and a warning. Beware the central isopters, for they trade only in death.
wait, do I? Am I losing my mind, Connor?
What?
Do you hear it too? It's oh man.
Oh, the
Okay.
explosions.
No, it's still like emitting the ATST like walking
Sometimes
sound.
living out in the desert
Oh.
seems so
You must focus on what is different.
I feel so bad noticing these things because I'm like,
Looks
this
easy
is
to get
still this is obviously a game made by like.
It's a good thing you have a guide.
Yeah.
There's a team that cares here, but at the same time, like
Yeah.
I feel like Respawn is not big enough.
That might be part of
The
it.
team.
Isn't this built? Are these both built in Unreal?
They are both on Unreal. I do not know
And
if this is
they're
on
both-
Unreal 5 or this is on Unreal 4.
Yeah,
still.
I wonder if it started on 4 and then it transitioned to 5, and that could account for some of it. I don't know if that's true or not. Obviously, I'm speculating.
Also, like maybe we should just call it out and just
Also-
hope for the better, not try to apologize for it. I don't know.
Enemies up ahead.
Yeah, but also, a lot of times, like a lot of the best.
Oh, didn't mean to do that.
This is like
Whatever.
obviously a lot of games can make. A lot of games can be made in Unreal, like that are really great, but like a lot of the most polished games are often made by studios that make their own engine, because they learn. They can like make it optimized for exactly what they want it to be able to do.
Okay, so let's just.
Use a stick.
Which is basically the
You will break.
both the advantage and disadvantage of Bethesda. My understanding is that engine works a lot better for like
Find something,
the
buddy.
type of thing of we're gonna have a world with a lot of different objects in it, that have to coexist in some way.
You're talking about the Fallout engine.
Yeah, the creation engine,
Yeah.
but isn't great for the like the better animations and being a lot more flexible. Now that's partly because of how they built it, of course, but like I don't know.
Yeah, like Naughty
I'm not
Dog,
enough of a
they
game-
make
I'm
their
not
own
enough of a game-
engine.
Yeah, I'm not enough of a game designer to know like the whys exactly, but I know that happens to it.
Naughty Dog makes their own engine. I'm pretty sure Insomniac does. Like pretty much all the first party
How'd
Sony
you get involved with the
ones,
hidden
I'm
path?
pretty sure make their own.
But I think they trade their
Engine?
tech because at least with Sony, I think that's one of the advantages
Hold
of
on,
them
what?
being in the same. Yeah, what just happened?
I don't know. It did not communicate really well what I was supposed to do. Okay. Now I know what to do.
Oh, do you have to like? Oh, you have to do that nonsense.
Sometimes
Yeah.
I wonder if destroying the holocron had any impact.
We protected the children on that list. But there are others.
And the Empire's still hunting them down.
Just so. We must protect those we can.
This man has the upper body strength.
Yeah, and I like that they improved the speed of his movement though, because like the
And I don't
segment-
have to hold down a
kinda-
trigger, because that was my biggest
These-
complaint.
Those segments were rough in the first one. I haven't finished that game, but I played a chunk of the beginning of it.
Yeah. And, you know, I like Jedis that aren't the Skywalkers. I'm tired of the Skywalkers. Like there are other people in the universe.
Yeah,
Let's okay.
yeah, that's how I feel like. I think I've heard some stories of possibly. I could be wrong with this. I could be spreading lies right now or getting it mixed up with another story, but I thought I heard somewhere that Neil Druckmann might be like moving on from Naughty Dog at some point.
Well, the Evan Wells, the co-president, had just moved on actually.
Oh, I think that might be what I'm remembering. But, I wouldn't be surprised. Like obviously Ken Levine left
Old tech is less conspicuous.
whatever that company's name is now. Can't think of it right now.
Irrational.
Yeah, and
How do I get? Oh.
you're like,
But yeah,
"Damn it."
It's a
Um,
little silly. Oh.
It's a little silly. What?
No, just some of it's like pickiness on when it allows me to use the force, pull and push. in the
Oh
Souls.
yeah, yeah.
Like earlier,
Audio
it wouldn't let me
sensors,
push.
Is that a BD1 upgrade?
I
or
think it's a
something?
BD1 upgrade. Yeah.
Or quote unquote upgrade. Cosmetic.
Yeah, which
I-
is truly a bummer that they continue that this time around.
Yeah, I mean, I see sort of why they did, merely because like
The safe house is in
they're
there.
they're creating a
The temple is
linear
and well fortified.
story,
Good place to hide from
combat
the
story or
Empire.
whatever, and
So we
like
thought.
We'll find Brother Armias.
obviously
hope
they
so.
could try it, but
We will
to
take
the
the back route.
comment
It's the
about the
fastest
size of
way.
the team before, that would make for a more complicated game with a longer development cycle,
Well, and then
And
That looks like trouble.
At least there's two of
which
us.
you probably should have
One
it, but
for each
like
of its claws.
okay.
it is also kind of a semi-licensed game, right?
Here we go.
Like,
I only have one heal, so we'll see how this goes.
You need to heal.
Toss me one, BD.
Unlock. Strike now.
I think he's a lot of health.
Yield.
I should. play this really conservatively. Because I'm literally out of heals.
Nasty things.
Did you find the way to Tanalor?
Not yet. But we found some
Now you
prices
just
from
need
the
a
High Republic.
now you just need a meditation point.
Seer and her master are quite the pair. They've been a vital
I
asset to the
presume
Council
this is
to join
gonna
us.
lead to one.
Did you come across any other Jedi on your travels?
Not where I'm going, but like
If I had, I would have contacted
that was meant to be like a mini boss, air quotes, before I reach the meditation point.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I don't want us to come out as we're just shitting on this game while I'm playing it, but like there is just a stark difference in polish that is crazy coming off of Final Fantasy 16. Whereas like I never really ran into bugs or anything of that nature.
Yeah, I think I might have
Okay.
seen like one or two texture weirdness moments, but like
Okay, that's a meditation point. We're gonna go there.
Nice.
a shortcut to Seer's base. That is where we are going, but we must take the long way for now.
Okay, so this is one I found already. All right.
Back to Pilgrim's Sanctuary.
It's just I like Star Wars so much I'm like overlooking a lot of this like jankiness that I'm feeling.
yeah, and there aren't a lot of games like this, honestly. Like even honestly, even taking the Star Wars out of it, like there aren't a ton of like well done games that have this kind of playstyle outside of the Dark Souls, outside of
Yeah,
stuff directly from FromSoft.
and that aren't like shoehorned into an open world format either, because that's the thing.
Yeah,
Watch yourself out there.
I don't want everything to be open world.
Just you and me
yeah,
again.
and unfortunately, and the thing is, like, as much as there's almost too much to do in the game, and
That's not
I still
opening.
haven't finished the story, but Elden Ring is like that has kind of set a bar for what you could do with an world game and still have interesting dungeon mechanics within it.
Okay, hot take. After cooling off on Elden Ring, I'm like, a lot of it got kind of boring and repetitive for me. After a bit, and I think it's mostly because it's just like I discovered so much, and then I thought I was reaching an endpoint, but then boom, like a whole new, what was previously the size of the map showed up.
Hmm.
And rather than be like excited about that, I was just like, oh, okay. Now contrast
There's a lot
that
more going on.
with like Tears of the
Now-
Kingdom, where like a similar thing happens, but Tears doesn't try to force you to go anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I ignored all the cues of where to go in Elden Ring, so like, I also wasn't paying attention to where it told me to go most of the time. But yeah, fair. I mean, the game's too big. I never even got to the like frozen area, the snowy mountain area.
Oh, so you never beat it, right?
No, I never beat it. I still need to go back to Tears of the Kingdom. Honestly, my critique of those big open world games is just that like, as working a full-time job, they become harder to like commit to when I have other habits and hobbies and things that I want to spend my time on, like reading and whatnot.
That's fair.
So, it
That can't be the only thing.
they just
Okay.
become harder to play, and then like as opposed to like God of War, both the first one and Ragnarok, it's like okay, yeah, they're both kind of they're not short games by any means, but they're relatively linear, and you know they're going to come to some kind of an end.
Hmm. That's true.
But what do you connect that to? Oh, I see.
Now, what do I do with you?
I think like after playing, I think said this one of our last sessions after Tears of the Kingdom. This way of dealing with the force mechanic is,
Silly.
yeah, like wildly frustrating. And I imagine even some people, well, there's a lot of conversation to be had about like people being really surprised they're able to pull this off with this game or with Tears of the Kingdom. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
Careful not to touch anything here. Don't
Oh,
wanna wake
BD
the
just
dead.
becomes a flashlight in this one.
Devoted to the
No, I
building
can
end,
still do this.
but to what
Oh,
cause?
okay.
I think Sister Task will want to take a look at this.
What? Where?
Can't even
Where did?
see.
That's some Dark Souls bullshit right there. Where you just spawn out of nowhere.
And it's like way too dark to see anything.
Yep.
Like I like that BD just stops using the light after you have your saber out. Just like, good job. Wait for watching out.
BD, help please.
The fuck do I hear? Okay. Murder you and all your cousins. Okay.
Stuck the landing.
I see that. Where am I supposed to go now? Oh, I see. I think I do appreciate the art style in this game doesn't have that like RE4 here's yellow
It's
paint.
not like bright yellow, it's a little more subtle.
Yeah, it's a little more subtle,
It's still-
matching with the buildings. It's still a little silly.
It's still like very clearly like if this texture is on this thing, you can grab onto it and interact with it or whatever. The running walls
Map of the
clearly
region.
look like running
There's
walls.
Pilgrim Sanctuary across the bridge.
And
But,
that's
you know, you
fine,
have to do-
right? You have to do something to communicate
you have
to
to
your
do some of that
player.
with some of these games. But
Brace yourself,
and I know I've said this before, but I really do want another like
SFO2?
sleeping dog style game. And unfortunately, I think like the
That's our
8 a.m.
perpetual Switch pitch is a sequel to Sleeping Dogs. That's always gonna be what we pitch.
Well, I just want like another good. And I would also take like a redux of like. Obviously, there's the Mafia is linear or whatever. Excuse
Block
me.
the wind somehow.
Oh.
Gotta block
But
the winds.
a redo of that Godfather game. I don't know if did you ever play that?
No, I've never played any of the Godfather games.
Well, it was just I think it was just one game for the PlayStation 2. It was an open world game where you were like a no-face character, but you like
You ever heard anything like that before? Almost like music.
Huh.
almost like. You play like a character that becomes part of the Corleone crime family, or your own crime family. I'm a little unclear on, I'm a little rusty on the exact story anymore,
Mhm.
but like you go about like killing the other families
Let's go.
and like taking over their like compounds, and it's a open world game in like 1920s or 30s New York. But I remember it being a lot of fun as a kid, and if they just did a redo of it with like modern
Hello?
mechanics, and
You have a blaster now?
They were waiting on a shuttle. Means more on the
yeah.
way.
You
I
have
want
a
to replay.
blaster now? Okay.
I want to replay Ghost of Tsushima at some point. That's a game where like there were definitely just cosmetic things you could get, and I still put in a lot of time acquiring them.
Mm-hmm.
Because like a lot of the outfits didn't really do anything for you,
Oh, absolutely not.
but I still unlocked most of them. And got,
That's
like,
one I want to revisit a
supplies for,
couple.
like-
Well, probably with a sequel, to be honest.
Yeah, it almost certainly has a sequel. I mean, I'm hoping that game like Rise of Ronin winds up being good, because like
pilgrims came out here
that
anyway?
looks like it could scratch some of that itch.
Imagine
Mhm.
crossing these gales just to find a safe place. Guess you can't put a
But
price
I
on
don't
sanctuary.
necessarily want a ton of these open world games, but there doesn't seem to be anyone doing anything other than Rockstar still.
And the Ubisoft
Merrin
model.
mentioned this was the back route, right?
And like,
Hope Seer's got another
Like,
way for these
and it's just
refugees.
I don't
They've been through enough.
I kind of want someone to come and do something a little different that is
Yeah, and I hope that Star Wars
Not so
one
compelling.
turns out to be good. I really do.
yeah.
That should give us some cover.
I'm like nervous on what to do here. Okay. That's what I thought. Okay.
All clear.
Is it Cal?
But yeah, another like prime city open world game would be interesting if someone were to do it. So obviously there's like Saints Row. I guess Saints Row is the other franchise kind of still in existence, although the recent releases kind of were a little bit of a flop from what I remember.
Yeah,
Maybe,
well,
like-
the reboot was like universally panned.
Yeah, I've heard like one or two places where they're like, yeah, if you get it on sale, it's probably okay if you're willing to deal with it after they fix a couple of issues, but it's not it's not something you need to run to the store for or anything like that. The one that's going to be interesting is seeing if Cyberpunk comes back at the end of the year with that
That
release.
DLC.
I bought the base game, so I'll probably wind up picking up that DLC. Maybe I won't actually try to play it until that comes out,
Why didn't the Empire give us a nickname?
just so I'm kind of playing it fresh. Because I tried on the PlayStation for a bit,
Hear that, buddy?
it still kept crashing.
Yeah, I thought
Like, it
about
played
playing
okay,
it
but the game crashed a lot on the PS5.
still.
Yeah, while it's playing, it's fine, but it was crashing pretty frequently.
Hmm.
Like I could exaggerate it a little bit maybe, but like it was probably a good like 15-20% crash rate, or like
That's
probability
pretty
chance
bad.
that could
Yeah.
happen at any moment. I had one time where I think within a couple hours it crashed twice.
Mm.
So it's like I'm probably not running my math correct on that, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's higher than it should be.
It was just and it was just annoying because then I have to like reboot, and maybe I even have to like redo stuff that I had completed. And
Get up here.
Okay. The thing I'm confused on, like, why did decide not to lock onto anyone after I knocked that stormtrooper off?
yeah, interesting.
Like, it should have kept the lock on. What?
That was interesting.
Okay, I'm gonna respawn them just out of spite, because, like, I should not have lost that much health for, like, silly reasons. Because it should have auto-locked onto the other droid as soon as I knocked them off. Okay, I want to do it again just so I can get that skill point.
You're just like, I'm so close.
Honestly.
It's a good farm spot.
I mean, yeah, he gets...
No, actually, also, the Ghost of Tsushima was one of the first games in a long while where, like, I didn't get annoyed clearing the map of the camps. That's usually such a frustrating process for me. It's like, a lot of games, it's extremely tedious.
And there's no way for me, I don't think, to tell if skill points get harder to obtain. Like,
I suspect they do, but
that's my assumption, but I don't know, it didn't seem like it. Oh yeah, what can I do in the survival?
I mean, don't later abilities also cost more?
Yeah, and that's fine, but
Oh,
okay, I do like that. I do want that. I mean, they by like 1 or 2, so it's not like it costs like 5, you know.
mm-hmm.
And actually, I'm gonna go to the regular one because. Are you kidding me? Excuse you? Okay.
Yeah, definitely Merrin's work.
No, focus. Focus on them. Let's not back off the platform. Excuse you. And And there we go. Gotta love it.
Stormtroopers weren't ready for these conditions. And it doesn't hurt to have a desert ghost on our side. Maybe the wind's turning in our favor for once. Force of nature, huh?
I think fundamentally, at the end of the day, like my big wish would be for like us to like be able to cool off enough with like the quick turnaround needed by a lot of these companies for like very particular like financial and marketing reasons. So just
Onwards, traveler. Cross over. Cross
chill
over,
out a
what?
little bit.
You saying we don't need annual Call of Duties, Connor?
Well, like, yeah, but also in general, like, a lot of this game's problem, I think, is pretty related to, like, the need for release window tightness, because, like, you're meeting particular financial period reporting data and blah, 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 blah. And, like, decisions from way above the development team dictate that it has to be out at this time, so do what you need to do to make that happen.
Yeah, and like, and just to end this episode here, because I think this is a good stopping point. Like this game, I don't know how soon after development started after Fallen Order, but it was like probably what, solid 4 years between. That's I think a little bit on the short side
For a game like this, anyway.
for a game like. Yeah, I would argue, but my thing that I worry about, and I think the fan base worries about, is like they're not giving Respawn time to like actually fix the issues either. Because I think like they're already hiring, starting to process on pre-production on like another Jedi game. I'm like, let's patch out stuff. You can do pre-production, but just make sure like you fix what's wrong. Because like this game still chugs pretty bad, and I might change it back to performance because like the 30 frames doesn't feel much better. I don't know. All right, we're gonna continue to reach the place we're supposed to reach, which is all the way fucking over there apparently. So we did just a lot of exploring, combat, me getting used to combat again, because I've been playing Final Fantasy. So hopefully next episode I will not be as bad, but we'll see. Bye.
Peace.